Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of All-Star AD on the Educational AD Podcast. This is our series featuring 10 great Florida women athletic directors sharing their views on topics that we all face in educational athletics. Before we meet today's All-Star, let's go ahead and recognize our podcast partners, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, We Coach, the global community of women in high school sports, and the Florida Coaches Coalition. Okay? These are all great organizations you should be a part of. Check them out. And now, don't hit that fast forward button. Please stay with us as we give our sponsors their quick shout out. It just takes 3 minutes. We wanted to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire program. ADs usually only hear back from that 2%, the squeaky wheel parent or the frustrated student athlete. And we need to hear from them so we can affect positive change in our program. But we also need to hear from the 98% that really love and support our program. And that's where Athletic Surveys comes in. They can create a custom survey that allows you to take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. So go to athleticsurveys.com, find out how they can create that custom survey for you. That's athleticsurveys.com. We want to thank Final Forms for their support. Go to finalforms.com/Jake and prepare for your best season ever. Final Forms can help your stakeholders, your coaches, and you to have your best season. For athletic directors, they can help you with eligibility, with compliance, and with all the forms that come across your desk. To talk to somebody who gets it, someone who's walked in your shoes, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake and get started with the Final Forms team. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, schedule a live web demo, and see their tables and their boards in action. They not only generate income for your department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. That's sidelineinteractive.com. Check them out today. We want to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support. Hometown's recently acquired Ticket Spigot, and together they're going to help you set up and start selling your tickets online, not just for athletic events, but things like school dances, school plays, concerts, even graduation. And the best part, Hometown's going to provide you with a dedicated client success manager that will give you hands-on support every step of the way. That's every step of the way. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started. Simple and easy online ticketing. We want to thank Huddle. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. Huddle is going to provide your school, your coaches, your teams, and your athletes with the tools they need to perform at the highest level. It's going to be a professional grade solution to the challenges that we all face. At Huddle, we believe in sports and teams believe in Huddle. Go to huddle.com and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank Gipper. Go to gipper.com and see how athletic directors are creating world-class marketing content on their school's social media channel. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. Use our code ADPOD10 and you'll get 10% off. Create custom content for your school's social media channel at gipper.com. We want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com. Check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you do your job better. When you get there, you're going to find Snap Raise, their fundraising platform. We used it with great success, and so can you. They even have a program where you can get your funding before you actually start your fundraising. Nobody else offers that. Go to snapraise.com and get started today. And we want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. The Wall of Fame is an interactive touchscreen video console that allows you to highlight your school's top performers, both past and present, in athletics, academics, and the arts. But the Wall of Fame is more than that. It's an extensive content program that allows you to tell more compelling stories to better engage your audience. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their great products. When you're ready to buy, use the link vitalsignswalloffame.com/Jake, and you'll get a big discount. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check them out today. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of All-Star AD. This is our series featuring 10 great women athletic directors from Florida, and they're sharing their views, their perspectives on challenges that all athletic directors get to deal with in educational day sports. Our guest today is an old friend. She's been on the podcast before. It's Mel Gables. She's the athletic director at Davenport High School. That's here in Florida. Recently, a startup school. That's when we had her on the podcast to talk about those adventures. But Mel, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to All-Star AD. And what do you have for our listeners in this segment?
All right, thanks, Jake. It's always an honor to hear from you and appreciate all the work that you do to help all of the athletic directors, no matter what our situations are. When you had asked me about being on this, there's a couple things that came to my mind, and one of the biggest things, and I may have even touched on this in the original podcast, was about the non-essential coaching staff at your school. As an athletic director, you only think about your coaches, your student athletes, you got to get officials, all those things that we do as an athletic director on a daily basis. But it's often overshadowed. We overshadow what I would like to call our non-essential coaches. And our non-essential coaches, I listed as our secretaries, our custodians, cafeteria manager, guidance department, the grounds crew, the registrar at your school, and even your local newspapers. All of those people play an essential role and critical role in the success of your athletic programs at your school. You may, not think, well, what's the cafeteria worker got to do with helping out my football team? Well, she might have some leftover food that's like, hey, if you've built that relationship with her, hey, I got 30 cheeseburgers left over. Do you think the guys want them after practice? Absolutely. Or like, hey, we need help setting this up. Can you get your football team to come and help me? So, you build these give and take relationships with these people that really create a family type atmosphere. One of the most important people at my school is one of our custodians. Love her to death. And I see her in the hallways every day. I've given her a couple of shirts. Our grounds crew guy from the district, I've given him a Bronco hat. And just that little bit helps in so many ways to grease the wheel to make sure that when you send an email or that when you send a request out asking for help, they know that you've treated them well. And as I was telling you before the podcast started, I kind of showed this jersey that I have up on my wall. Or, like you said before, this is our second year. We're calling it Chapter 2. It's Chapter 2 in the Bronco history books. And my football coach took our starting jersey with the 2021, it's 21 number on it, put my name on the back of it, had it framed, and it's now hanging in my office. It's one of the most thoughtful gifts I ever got as an AD. And that goes a long way with me. And the same thing, how makes you feel as a professional, you want to be able to make sure that you're doing that for the people that are constantly helping you. And I think that's has made a huge impact on how we are able to be successful so early, and not only in the wins and losses, but in building ties with our community. I think that has a lot to do with it. And, you have your stakeholders, of course, your community members, your mayor, your this, that, your business owners. But honestly, your stakeholders outside of your coaches are right here on your staff at school. And without those people, our program would really falter, because it takes more than just an athletic director. It takes more than just the head coach or the assistant coach to make the program successful. And the more people that you can get moving in the same direction and having the same vision as you as the athletic director, the more likely that you are going to be able to be successful in whatever you're trying to do.
No.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't mean, you were taking a breath there. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know I tend to talk a little bit. And so with that importance direction of getting those people involved, it kind of branches into, which probably could end up being a totally separate topic, but it was the importance of hosting middle school events. And those middle school events, when we're talking about middle school track, middle school wrestling, middle school, like the county championships, because I am a high school, but we have obviously a new facility. So the facilities are amazing. We get asked to host a lot of events. Now, that it can be quite time consuming. However, I feel it's very important because those secretaries, those custodians, guess what? They have kids, they have grandkids, they have nieces and nephews that go to these feeder middle schools. So it gives them a sense of pride, like, hey, oh, you're coming to our school. Oh, I'm going to come too now, see you guys out there performing, because it's their people, it's their family. So when you build that relationship, things seem to open up and become a lot easier. So, that's one of the things I want to encourage any athletic director, male or female, is to be able to have those relationships with people who your non-essential coaching staff members.
Yeah, your last little part there about the middle school, it just kind of puts the icing on the cake as you were sharing all those things that you talked about. As athletic directors, you always hear the conversation, oh, we got to change the culture, we got to build the culture. Those things that you're doing are shaping that winning culture that you talked about, because they are so critical in the success. When everybody on that campus, whether it's the coach, the AD, or those other important people that you talked about, they all feel buy-in, they all feel ownership. And then you talk about the middle school and reaching out to the kids of the parents in those positions. Great stuff, and a great lesson for anybody who's listening. Okay. Mel, if one of our listeners did want to reach out, and listeners, I think you got a great resource here. Find out more about how you do things at Davenport. What's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
The best way is probably email. Although we are a new school, our phone service here, the Wi-Fi is not quite up to speed yet. And unfortunately, that's an area I don't know very much about. So let me give you my email address. It's Mel, MEL, .Gables, GABLES, at Polk, POLK-FL.net.
Okay. Mel Gables.
And we also have Instagram. You can also message me on Instagram at Bronco Country Sports. We're on Instagram, and that's something I'm getting better at. So we're trying to respond to messages via Instagram too.
You guys are on Twitter too, aren't you? I see on
We
Twitter.
are on Twitter. Yeah. I think I have it as Davenport High School Broncos on Twitter. I'm getting ready to change that over so all my screen names are the same. That's another project for another day on that one.
There you go. But Mel Gables, always great talking with you. All the best as you continue with spring sports. This is the busy time of year for a Florida athletic director. Okay.
100%. 100%.
For our listeners, we do this every single week, All-Star AD. We also have new content just about every single day, and every Zoom recording gets uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening. Come back next week for another All-Star AD segment, and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Before we go, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Again, you've heard me say this before, all 8 are fantastic. You should be using these organizations, these companies at your school. Gipper, go to Gipper.com, custom branded content for your school's social media channels. HometownTicketing.com, start selling your tickets online, not just for athletics, but for all events. Huddle.com. It's not just for football anymore. Turn your school into a huddle school for all your sports. Go to huddle.com for more information. Snap Mobile is found at snapraise.com. Not just fundraising, but their fundraising platform is outstanding. Go to snapraise.com. Check out the entire suite. Final Forms. Final Forms is the official registration platform for the FIAAA annual conference. You can put Final Forms to work for you. Go to finalforms.com/Jake. Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. Bring your school's legacy to life with a Wall of Fame touchscreen console. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com/Jake. Athletic surveys by LifeTrack. If you're not using a survey for your parents or your student athletes or your coaches, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. And finally, Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Probably the best purchase I ever made as an AD. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Thanks for listening to All Star AD. We'll see you next week on the Educational AD Podcast.